With the aim of destabilizing the Ukrainian military, Russia has been for the past 1 week storming Ukraine with airstrikes and missiles. Russia validates its actions by stating that Ukraine has been for several years controlling two regions, the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in eastern Ukraine, illegally. And Russia identifies these two regions as independent nations. So, is this the reason for war? Or is there someone else behind this? Is there someone who is not appearing in the foreground but is responsible for the war? Is responsible for instigating the two parties in the war? Well, let's know everything about the Ukrainian and Russian war today and why and how Russia chose to go for this war in this video. So make sure you watch this complete video and are with me till the end. So, has Ukraine forced or pushed Russia for taking such a massive step? No. Which country has? It's the United States of America. The USA has, since the very beginning, tried to create its dominance in every part of the globe, and this pushed the then USSR towards, reaching out to different countries around the world to counter the USA's actions and to ensure that all these countries become an ally of Russia and not USA. So it's important to note that Russia has great oil reserves and has a lot of natural gas. And this is the reason why the then USSR focused and emphasized on oil pipeline projects which would connect Russia, USSR, with the other European countries like Poland and Germany. Now, with these oil pipeline projects, the oil consumption in Europe would increase, thereby increasing the dependency of the European countries over Russia, and this would ensure that they become a strong support and an ally of Russia. So seeing this power that the Soviet Union, the USSR, was trying to, achieve in this world, USA got worried, and so the then president of USA, Mr. John F. Kennedy, tried to stop the project of the oil pipelines in Europe. And the USA tried to, attract as many European countries towards US as possible. Not only this, something similar happened in 1980 when the US President Ronald Reagan, by all means, tried to dissuade the European countries from financing such projects. So, USA's such steps were extreme, and all of this in a way spoiled the relations between USSR and Russia and annoyed USSR. And not only this, all of this was followed by the collapse of the USSR, the Soviet Union, in 1991. So the fall of the Soviet Union and its influence all around the world was enjoyed and much relished by the Western countries, especially the United States. And all these events, in a way, sowed seeds of resentment and animosity between Russia and the United States. But how did Ukraine get into all this? Well, Ukraine and Russia did not actually share, such strained relationships. It was all okay. But the problem started in the late 2004 when a leader, Viktor Yanukovych of Ukraine, who was a pro-Russian leader, his victory in the presidential Ukrainian elections was questioned. His victory was suspected to be fraud, and therefore he was temporarily forced to, leave his office for his rival, who was a pro-Western leader. And this event angered Russia, and so Russia decided to channel all its pipelines directly to Germany. This pipeline was known to be Nord Stream pipeline, which would not pass Ukraine. Now, what further spoiled the relations between Ukraine and Russia was the 2014 Revolution of Dignity. Now, it was then when the pro-Russian leader Viktor Yanukovych was removed. Now, this was something that angered Russian politicians, Russian Federation, it irked the Russian Federation. And Russia then calls this an illegal coup and began to militarily intervene and annexed Crimea, a part of Ukraine, in 2014. And it is since then when Russia has been trying to capture various parts of Ukraine. And all of this was definitely something that would upset USA. Now, Russia does not like and does not want many pro-Western nations in Europe. It does not want many pro-USA nations in Europe. And that is the reason why Russia does not want Ukraine to join the NATO. And that is the reason why Russia is trying to weaken Ukraine by giving full support to Donetsk and Luhansk, the two eastern states in Ukraine which wish to become independent. And before Ukraine could, actually militarily retake those two regions, Russia waged a war against Ukraine. So this is how the war between Ukraine and Russia erupted. Animosity between two countries, Russia and the USA, and their constant efforts over the years in trying to damage each other's influence over various countries around the world, and their constant effort and their desire, their drive to be the next world leader crushed Ukraine. Ukraine, despite being a pro-Western nation, was left alone in the war, was left to fend for itself, and fell prey to the American politics. So, is war a solution to any problem? No. A war can never be a solution to any problem. And so we all shall pray for Ukraine. We all shall pray for the Ukrainians and hope for a diplomatic solution to this issue, and hope for a negotiation between the two countries, Russia and Ukraine, so that things which have already got worse do not worsen.